So after 16 seasons, 915 games, 2,331 goals, 8 titles, 24 Cup and Shield victories, today the impossible dream comes to an end. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome to Season 16, Episode 10, the final episode here at H&W Welders on the Impossible Dream. In the end, we fell short and we weren't able to win anything, but in Europe anyway. But let's not let that ruin what has been otherwise a very, very enjoyable time at the club. Let's have a look and see how this our season finished up here. Now we can see at the signings, Dylan Lake was the signing of the season, came back permanently, of course. Venton Holder, a C+. Richard Hammond, an F, but I feel like he's going to prove to be a very good player moving forward. We are going to sim ahead 10 years today, and we'll see exactly what happens after we leave, so that'll be interesting to see. Hulik, a wonder kid, an A-. He's going to prove to be a good signing as well. We can see there, Jelfs was just pretty much brought in as backup. Bittner, I mean, I think he's better than an E, if I'm completely honest. Falkhausen, he's not a B, he was a F. What an idiot. Major, a B+ signing. He came in from Liverpool. Scott, wasn't completely thrilled with him. Dent did okay, I suppose. And the other one that we signed was Greening. And, well, we never really saw him, did we? So that is that. The players that left, did any of them go on and do anything? Not so much. McGurk played 4 times and 1 sub appearance for Southampton. Should have stayed, mate. Should have stayed. And yeah, no one really went off and played at their new clubs except for Wilson Oliveira, strangely enough, at Sampdoria, I should say. So that's interesting, though he didn't play particularly well. All right, so let's go and have a look at the next thing here. It's the season results. We did end up winning the league. You can see that there. It was an invincible season for us. If you have a look, and I'll be honest, I didn't play through the end of the season. After Bristol City, I was a little bit bummed out, and I just simmed through the rest of it because we'd already won the league, and there was nothing particularly to play for. So we did drop points to Linfield and to Glentoran. But it didn't really matter, as I said, at that point. So it was all good. Champions League, of course, we... 2-1 defeats, man. 2-1 defeats to Bayern Munich twice and Manchester City. If we'd been able to take one of those against Bayern Munich, we would have progressed from the group. That, of course, sent us into the Europa League. We beat FC Cologne and then Bristol City, done on away goals, despite Venton Holder's heroics. The All-Irish Cup, we did manage to win that. We did end up going all the way in the Peaky Blinders Cup. We won that final 2-0. It was Jaylani Fitzpatrick. He got a double in this one. You can see there, we played a 4-4-2 apparently. And Armstrong missed a penalty. So, yeah, that was how that final played out. Then, of course, we had the League Cup where we were runners-up, lost on penalties in the final of that one to Linfield. The County Antrim Shield, we won. We beat Linfield in that. And the Tunnocks UEFA Cup, we did manage to win that as well. And it was 2-0 again. And again, it was Jaylani Fitzpatrick with a double over St Mirren, who did not register a single shot. So we well and truly dominated that game. 4-4-2 apparently was how the game wanted to play if I wasn't in charge. So moments to remember, we had a 14-0. We also had a 13-0 and a couple of other double figures domestically, but poor old Wakehurst. We had a 7-0 as the match to remember. I would say maybe the 3-1 win over Manchester City might just edge that. Or even the 3-2, the comeback against Bristol City, although ultimately the 2 goals was a little bit, well, too much for us to come back from. Goal of the season went to Armstrong. We're not going to do a goal of the season competition because basically this is it. There's no way for me to let you know who won it. So it's a free kick from Armstrong. Could be any one of 20. I think he was magnificent. The finances, again, doesn't really matter. We're still a 3-star reputation club. 18 grand, 264 shots sold now. Armstrong is number 1. Young, Lake, Mladenov and Fitzpatrick. I'm getting good at reading every second letter, aren't I? So that was that. How we lined up. Team of the season. It was Young in goal. Surgeon, Hulik, McGurk, and Major. Tomo and Armstrong in midfield. Mladenov, Napoleon and Afonso. And McDade up top, as he always is, with 32 goals this season. Mladenov with 24 is not too bad, with 15 assists in there as well. And of course, we'll see as we get to the accolades that it was Armstrong that led the way in terms of of assists. So it was Robbie Young, another goalkeeper, wins the Player of the Year. Afonso was Young Player of the Year, and he's 19 for once a young player has actually won that award. We saw earlier Dylan Lake was Signing of the Year. Armstrong was Goal of the Season. Top goal scorer, the Aaron McDade Award went to Aaron McDade. 20 assists for Armstrong, and was Mladenov with 11 Man of the Match awards. It was Armstrong with an average match rating of 7.8, and Kamani with 58 passes completed per 90 minutes won that award. Young set a record for most clean sheets. What he didn't do is take back the league record, so that's a bit of a pain in the backside. The worst discipline was Ordonez, and he earned this. 12 yellow cards and 2 red cards. That is, as I said, a club record, so a golden card to remember. A platinum golden card for Ordonez. McQuaid ends the series with the most appearances, and McDade ends the series with the most goals, which is a higher number than the most appearances, which tells you something, doesn't it? And of course, we did earlier this year in one of the cup games have our youngest ever player in Adam Campbell as well. So history in the making. We loaded up on trophies. Unfortunately, though, it just wasn't the European one. So I'll show you our history again. I started at the top there, obviously, but we played 915 games with the Welders. We won 621 of them. We drew 108. We lost 186, and a high percentage of those would have been early on in the championship, where we really did struggle, didn't we, to get promoted for the first while there. We scored over 2,000 goals. We conceded just over 900, so a goal difference of plus 1,429, a 67% win percentage, 24 cups, 8 wins, and just the 1 promotion, of course, that was needed. We bought 154, we signed 154 players. We sold 100. We bought for 60, but sold for 82. So we made a profit of 22 million through our time at the club. The highest transfer fee was Jelani Fitzpatrick. The highest fee received was Zanetti, 10 million for Fitzpatrick, 12 million for Zanetti. We spent almost £1 million on agents, which makes you a little bit sick, doesn't it? And we released 50 players. So I think that means the time has come. It is time for us to quit our job at the Welders. I've had a great time here, but the time has come, hasn't it? So it's done. We've had a mass exodus. All the staff members deciding to leave. So Douglas, Mummett, Steele, Hope, Prossier. I would have liked Walcott to get the management job after me. He was a very good assistant manager for us, I think. So I don't know if he's in the running. We'll have a look at that in just a second. Critchley, who's a very good coach for us as well. He's left. And Flahaven, who was an absolute god of a coach. He would have been a good assistant manager. Well, if I was in charge, I think I'd make Theo the manager and I'd make this guy the assistant. But obviously, unlike Sir Alex Ferguson, I didn't get the choice. Let's have a look here. We've resigned. So the 2 favourites, Martin Hidden, who is, or was, rather, the manager of FC Köln. So he's seen us up close twice and we've beaten him both times. He is the favourite to get the job. And the other one is Wayne Rooney, who is quietly a very, very good manager. He's been at Hibs and Newcastle. He's currently unemployed. He could be a good signing, actually. He looks like he's developed into a good manager, and that might be an interesting way for the Welders to go. What a coup that would be. Anyway, we're going to sim ahead 10 years. Let's see exactly what happens to the team after we've left. I do fear a little bit that we're going to get picked apart and that my players are going to end up all over Europe for large fees, but let's see what actually happens. I'll see you in 10 years' time. Alright, now while we're waiting for the game to sim ahead, I do need to name or announce, I guess, what I think has been our best 11 during our time at the Welders. So we'll start with the goalkeeper, and I think there's only really one person for this. Zanetti was absolutely brilliant for us. It was a shame to lose him. Young did a good job, but I don't think he was as good as Zanetti, certainly in terms of shot stopping. 191 appearances for Zanetti before he went off to Liverpool, so very, very good from him. Now, if we look at the centre-backs, this was a position that was difficult because we seem to have a lot of centre-backs in and out. Now, I guess the no-brainer in a way, despite being a Judas late on in the series, Ross McGurk, 88 appearances, 21 goals. That is an insane turn back for or return, I should say, for a centre-back. And a lot of those 21 were in Europe as well. So he was the no-brainer. The second one, honourable mentions to Freddie Smith, honourable mentions to Tommy Martin as well, but I went with Joe Kidd. I remember him making some really good defensive plays in Europe, so 97 appearances for him and 2 goals to partner McGurk as our 2 centre-backs. Now, if we move forward to or either side even, to the full-backs, Left side, I went with Ellis. I thought he was just really, really good for us. 134 appearances, 4 goals. And I mean, even, our last season, he was still a player that I had no problems throwing in to play either centre back or left back, to be honest, in the end. Right back was a bit of a tough one as well. Kavanagh was obviously good. Going back a little bit further, Luca Hall was quite good for us. But I went with Roy Hill. He was really, really difficult to replace. I couldn't find anybody better than him. He was around for a long time. 123 appearances, 1 goal. So maybe a little bit of controversy in this selection, but I've gone with Roy Hill at right back. If we move forward to midfield, and again, these are positions that I feel like we had a relatively high turnover in, and late in the series, we had some really good young central midfielders come in, but I've kind of ignored all of them. The first one is going to be Napoleon. He was just my favourite player, I think, in the series. 273 appearances, 74 goals. It's difficult to make an argument he doesn't deserve to be there, though certainly there's an argument to say others could be. And the other one, and I don't think this is controversial, but maybe it would be, is William McQuaid. 303 appearances, 11 goals. He came through our academy and captained the club for a long, long time. And I just thought he never really let us down. Occasionally he let us down, but he was very good for all the way to the end domestically. Now, if we move forward to the wingers, left side, again, we had some very good left-sided players, but there was only one, I think, that just took us to a different level. That was Martin McKay. 114 appearances for him, 85 goals, which is ridiculous as a winger. Dylan Lake, I think, considering himself a little bit unlucky, but when they were both at the club, Martin McKay was our first choice. And over on the right-hand side, I think Mladenov can consider himself very unlucky. And if he'd been around for longer, I'm almost positive he would have got this spot. But I've gone with Kean Scully. 120 appearances, 69 goals. He got winners for us against Manchester United. He got a winner for us against, or equalising, I think against Paris or Real Madrid or someone. He scored some big goals in Europe, and he was very, very good for us as well. So I've gone with him. The number 10, it can only be Adam Armstrong, Anthony Armstrong. 217 appearances, 87 goals, and I couldn't find, if I've added up the assists, it probably almost is 200 assists as well. He was an absolute god for us. And if I was giving an award for player of the series, I think it would go to Anthony Armstrong. He was nothing short of brilliant. And another player that was nothing short of brilliant up top, it can only be McDade, can't it? Aaron McDade, 298 appearances, 320 goals. How's that for a return? He was, again, maybe not the best striker we had, but certainly the most consistent. And he was plug and play in the league. I didn't have to worry about signing anybody for the league. I just had to try and get the best guy I could for Europe because McDade just scored 30 goals with his eyes closed, it seemed. So that is the team that I've named as the best 11. Now, the way I've selected them is based on their importance at the time as opposed to the best attributes, because obviously the best attributes would pretty much just be the team that we have now, our first 11. So it's sort of their importance at during their time at the club. So let me know what you think. What I got wrong. Obviously, not everyone's going to agree with that exactly. And let me know if you want to, either in the comments or the Discord. Let me know your best 11 of the series as well. I'll be curious to see how it's come across for you guys as well. Who you think has been our best players or our best 11. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Anyway, I think we're just about forward 10 years, so let's go see what happened. All right, so here we are 10 years in the future, and I barely look like I've aged more than a few hours, don't I? But let's have a look here at the trophy room. 17 league titles. Now, it looks as though they've won every league title. So once we cracked it, the club has continued on dominating Northern Irish football, so that's brilliant. 9 League Cups, 13 Peaky Blinders, 8 Caramel Wafers, 9 All-Ireland, 11 Antrim Shields, and then obviously we haven't been taking part in those other awards, or other competitions, I should say. Now, manager, who replaced us? So we left, and it was Wayne Rooney that ended up taking over, so that is interesting. So he left the job to go somewhere else. He won 1 league and 2 cups. Then Ger Doherty, who was he was either our reserve manager or he was what was he at the time? He was our reserves manager, so he's come in to be the caretaker manager. Still at the club, it looks like, as well. Where did Rooney go? He left us to go to West Brom, then Burnley, England manager for a while, and then Atalanta. So he's had a very good career for himself. Chris Lavery came in. Who's Chris Lavery? He won 1 league and 3 cups. He left the managerial role. Again, looked like another decent manager, Northern Irish. He went to Bournemouth, then Burnley, West Brom, Accrington, Stanley. Who are they? And he's currently at Colchester. Jonathan Johansson. Oh, why did we hire him? He was, of course, he's retired, and he probably should have retired. 2 leagues and 6 cups for him. He was the Linfield manager at the end, if you don't remember. So, yeah, that's not great, is it? Then we had Daniel Kelly come in. He was here for 3 years, 3 leagues and 7 cups. He left the role as well, so we're very much a bit of a stepping stone club, aren't we? He went to Falkirk, which is interesting, and then Alaves and Mansfield. So that is Daniel Kelly. And then Connor Ronan came in. He left the job after less than a year. He won 1 league and 3 cups. And he is an Irish manager, good manager. He left us for Derby County. And so that is Connor Ronan. And the current manager is Alexander Dragovic. He's been here for a year. He's won the league twice, 4 cups. And it doesn't look as though from what I've seen of the cups that have been won, that anybody has won anything in Europe, which is disappointing. But Dragovic, he came to us from Linfield, controversial. So he's been manager Newcastle, West Ham, Brighton. So he's managed some big clubs and also Linfield. And so he is currently the Welders manager. So let's go and have a look at, if we go to profile, and we can see he's a manager. It's Anthony Armstrong, 10 years on, and Anthony Armstrong is still at the club. Let's have a look at the current squad, see if anybody else is still there. And Robbie Young is still here as well. He's retiring at the end of the year, but Robbie Young, 36, 5 appearances for Scotland. Unfortunately, the attribute masking has come back to haunt us here, hasn't it? But he has been at the club ever since we left, so all 10 years. He's a Welders legend, no doubt. We'll check the legends in a little bit. So that's Robbie Young. Is there anybody else that is still here? Let's have a look. Ian Miss Kelly. So Miss Kelly is going to he's probably going to spend his whole career here at this point. 80 caps for Northern Ireland now, 6 goals, and he is a welder through and through. 447 games, so I think William McQuaid's record may have gone, but that is brilliant. I'm really, really happy that Miss Kelly stayed. Excellent stuff. And, we know that Anthony Armstrong stayed as well. I've got to be honest, is there anybody else here? No. So 3 players, that's not bad to be honest, and 3 decent players have stayed. Armstrong doesn't look like there's much left of him from what we can see there, but 104 caps for Northern Ireland with 12 goals. But let's go and have a look at that. What a player. I thought for sure he would have gone somewhere else. Someone would have poached him away from us. He's played 520 games in his career. He's not done yet. It doesn't say he's retiring either. 139 goals, 191 assists, 57 Man of the Match awards. And he played 25 games this most recent season. Average rating of 7.33, 11 assists, 3 goals. He can still do it, even if it is just at the domestic level, though he is currently in the reserves. So, maybe not quite as good as he once was. But that's brilliant. I'm really, really happy that he stayed. All right, let's have a look at the transfer history and see how this team got picked apart. Okay, so this is the season that we left. So at the end of the year, let's have a look here. So we lost Gareth Muniz. Ulrich Meyer left on loan, but that's not important. So Felkhausen came and went. Fair enough. Sold him for 7.25 million to Norwich. He has since retired, and we can't click on him. But that's a profit, isn't it? Signing for 4.1. Yeah, so that's not a bad bit of business from Rooney. Major left for Aston Villa. We signed him for free. He went off, as I say there, to Villa. Let's have a look at what his career did. Villa, Stade Rennes, then Rangers, where he's made a bit of a home for himself. And I'm assuming caps, 103 caps for Hungary. Well done to you. So that is Major gone. And Luis left. He went to Villa as well. I had high hopes for him. Let's have a look and see. No Brazilian caps, but he left to Villa. Never really played. Went on loan, and then left for free. So he's playing really, really well back in Brazil, but it's still a bit of a shame, I would imagine, that we didn't hang on to him. So that was immediately after we left. Let's have a look and see what happened the rest of that summer. Turpey on loan. We'll check out once players leave permanently. We'll go and we'll check them. So Ordonez left to Real Sociedad. He's transfer listed now. He's an Ecuadorian as well. He's changed his nationality, and 67 caps for them. And let's have a look and see what he did. he ended up going for big money to Dortmund. Then Bristol City took him. He went to Marseille, and he's now at Lille. So he's moved around a little bit, hasn't he? Yeah, it's a shame we didn't keep him, but looks like Rooney didn't like him. Tomo left. Oh, at least he went to Villa. All right, so Tomo, 125 caps for Australia, 6 goals, still only 31 as well. He's at Olympiacos currently. So he went to Villa, played a bit in the Premiership, bit in the Championship. Loaned to Watford, and then off to Olympiacos. He is gone. So he's had a decent enough career for himself, playing for the big 2 clubs of Welders and Villa, of course. Next up, if we go down, Fitzpatrick went to Newcastle. What did he do in his career? Didn't really play at Newcastle, didn't really play at Fulham. Went to Dynamo Kiev, played well there before retiring after a spell at some Ukrainian club I've never heard of. So well done to Fitzpatrick on a decent career. Next up, we have got Aussie Omer left. We didn't see that much of him. De Lauro went to West Brom. Jesus Christ, Rooney picked my team apart, didn't he? He is currently moving to, he's still in Germany, so he left for 7.25, so a nice profit there. Then he went to Sao Pauli, bit of Bundesliga football, and that's kind of where he's been playing ever since, kind of, but not really. So disappointed career there, perhaps, for De Lauro. Liam McDade, I had high hopes for him as well. He's gone to Bologna. He's never really made it. He's back at Portadown. 0 caps. I thought he was going to be a bit of a star. And, well, he never really played in Serie A, did okay in Serie B, and is now back in Northern Ireland and still not particularly doing well. So that surprises me. I thought he was going to be a genuine star. Who's next? Moreau has, geez, £68 million Rooney sold of my players. Moreau, he is currently at Orlando City, so playing some MLS. No caps for him, and in that 30, you wouldn't think it's going to be forthcoming. Went to Blackburn for a bit, went to Linfield, played well for them, Everton, and then he's been off at MLS ever since and doing okay for himself there. If we keep scrolling down, Octavio left. We got a bid for 21 million for him, and we've ended up selling him for 6, so that's a bit disappointing, isn't it, Wayne Rooney? But he went off to Fiorentina, played in Serie A, came back to play in the Premier League, and then has gone off to France and also then Brazil. Did he ever get a cap? No. So again, maybe a little bit disappointing of a career for Octavio. Dylan Lake left. Oh, this is heartbreaking. Dylan Lake is currently a coach. So he is retired. He's 35. And let's have a look at him. He came back for that 1 year. They sold him on for a profit. Didn't really do anything at Fulham. Went off to Sampdoria in Italy. Was good for them. And then had a little bit of a spell in Russia before retiring. Next out the door, Kamani to AC Milan. Only 2.7 million. Surely he was worth more than that. Went to Milan, didn't play, a couple of loan spells, went to Brescia, Benevento, Modena. He's become a bit of a journeyman, hasn't he, old Kamani? Next out, Mladenov. Oh, Wayne. He sold Mladenov. He went off to Norwich, didn't play, went to Greece, the US with FC Dallas, and retired after a spell in Poland. But look at that, 23 goals in 18 games. Next out the door, Napoleon. Unbelievable. He went to Brisbane Roar, played a little bit of time there. Never made a cap for Australia. That is, well, it's got to be disappointing, doesn't it? But there we go. He left the first summer. Next out the door, we've got Andrew Ellis. He went to Brentford. He is currently a scout for Lincoln. Let's see what his career happened to him. Brentford in the Championship. Sunderland in the Championship, and that's kind of where he maxed out. Now, he was an international. He ended up with only the 4 caps. Next man, oh, they didn't. Rooney, he sold McDade to Linfield for 700,000. How could you do that? Now, McDade has since retired in shame, no doubt. And yeah, there we go. He did okay for Linfield, but he was never going to repeat the form he had for us, was he? So, McDade left. I mean, is there anybody of our team left? And Kean Scully left. Did Kean Scully join again? Kean Scully, he did. He signed Kean Scully and then sold him. He signed him on August 22nd and then sold him that summer for a loss. So there we go. Kean Scully went off to Sheffield United, Brentford, Watford, and then some time in Turkey. And yeah, there we go. So Kean Scully made a return to the club. So that's I suppose, nice to see. Now, did anybody get released? They did. Hamzat Kagbo was released. Let's have a look what his career... I mean, he wouldn't have done much after us, would he? No. He was my assistant and not on the coaching field, just around the office. And that was pretty much all she wrote for Hamzat Kagbo. But he was brilliant early on, wasn't he? Really, really good player for us. Anybody else here of note? Not really. All right, so let's move on to the next season. Who was released? So Matthew Kelly. Now, Matthew Kelly is also known as William McQuaid. So he was released. He didn't play for anybody else after us. So Gary Turpie was released. He is now a scout at the age of 32. That's a little bit disappointing. You think he'd still be playing. So after us, he went to Glenavon and did not too much for them. Went to Ballina Millard, championship. So he scored 13 goals in the Premiership for a relegated side. Yeah, I mean, he went to Ballina Millard. It was a little bit like their Matthew Ferguson, wasn't he? Got them out of the Championship. But let's have a look here now at who else left. Hammerstrom. Oh, you went to Birmingham. How could you? How could you? He has 10 caps for Norway now. He's joining Ipswich from Fenerbahce. I mean, he had some big clubs in Europe looking at him when we had him, and he's gone to Birmingham in the Championship and then Fenerbahce. And well, I think he could have done a little bit better if I'm honest. But anyway, that's Hammerstrom. I didn't play him. I can't really complain. Bittner went to Marseille for 5.25 million. He hasn't got any caps for Germany. His career, he went on loan to Besiktas for a number of seasons and then signed for Olympiacos. So that's all a little bit disappointing, I think, for Bittner, isn't it? But he's done well for himself where he's played. But it's so disappointing how quickly this side has been picked to pieces. Ulrich Meyer left. He never really made it with us, did he? And it looks as though that is it for that season. I mean, there's no one left, is there? Yeah, did we spend any big fees here? No. So players that have... Is there anybody... Who's left? Who's left to leave, I suppose I should say. McPherson, we signed him for 1.1. I was so disappointed in him. He never really played for us. Spent a season with Larne on loan. A season playing for us, and then to Cardiff for free. So it's interesting they released him the only season he actually played for us. Then he sort of bounced around Scotland, it looks like, for the rest of his career. He is Scottish, I think, so that makes sense. So that is that season. Now, did we check free transfers for this one? No, we did not. So McCracken left on a free. He is currently at Larne. Well, that hurts. So he played under Rooney, it looks like, for the first, and then the next guy, because Rooney was only there for a season, wasn't he? Hamilton on a free, then went to Larne on a free, and as you would expect, he's come back to the league and he's doing quite well. And the other one to leave here was Ian Adair. Now, he was a really hot prospect that came through our academy, and he's never really developed, has he? Never really developed. Went to Portadown and then Dungannon. So if we skip ahead to the next season, no players released. And if we have a look at other transfers, Richard Hammond has left. He went to Brighton. Now, he still looks quite good. 97 caps for Australia, 61 goals. Now, he's currently at Lyon. He has gone on to have a career, which is excellent to see. 22 goals in the league. So he scored for us. £64 million he went for. Look at that. He's gone for £159 million in his career. He is a genuine star. So that's one of the guys. One of the guys has gone on and actually gone for big money on a regular basis, and that makes me quite happy. There we go. So that's Richard Hammond. Is there anybody left to leave? There's probably someone I'm forgetting here. We'll go ahead to the next one. Oh, Paulo Afonso. Of course, Paulo Afonso. He's gone to Real Sporting. So he stuck around for a few seasons, which is good to see. Let's have a look at his career. After us, he played... Yeah, he never quite reached the heights that he reached with us, did he? Afterwards, but 2.2 million to Real Sporting, played in La Liga for a bit, then League One, it looks like, went back to France. So yeah, again, a little bit of a disappointing career for him, I would imagine. So there's nobody else there of ours that has left. Any big transfer fees? No. Next season? No. Anybody released? I'm wondering, Atwell. We haven't actually seen what happened to Atwell as of yet. Though his contract was up the first season, so maybe he left there. Mark Maguire, now that was our right back, wasn't it? The young right back that we signed. So he's gone off to Nottingham Forest. And he played quite a few seasons, played them well as well, so that's good to see. And then he's gone to Forest. Surely we could have got more than $500,000 for him. That's a little bit of a low fee, and he's got 10 caps for Scotland. There were only 28, so still plenty of time for him. If we go on to the next season, Joe Kidd. So he must have come back at some point. He did. Look at that. So we sold him to Rangers. He then came back for 2 seasons and went off again. So, well, that just seals his spot in the best 11, doesn't it? Anybody else there? No. And we'll check free transfers. What do I want? Released players. And no. On to the next one. No one there. And no one there. So we're coming up towards the current season now. And again, there's no one there. Released players. No. And that is that. So the only one we didn't find out was Jeffrey Atwell. And the reason for that is that he just retired at the age of 26. That's a real shame. He was a good player, and the only reason we weren't using him is because he wasn't ever going to be club trained. So that's a shame. All right, so we've seen the way that the transfers went. Let's have a look and see how we ended up doing. Domestic leagues, as we saw, once we got there, we never let go. We actually set the records were broken. Our point scoring record, is that by Rooney or is that by the guy that replaced Rooney? Anyway, they broke our records for 2 seasons in a row there, which is a bit rude of them, isn't it? Let's go down to Champions League, and we never made the group stage again. Qualifying rounds. Oh, that is devastating. And we lost to Dundalk to rub salt into the wound this most recent season. So after we left, we never made the group stage again. No, they did make it 1 year. So Rooney got to the group stage, right? 36-37, that's the year after we left, and he came bottom of the group. So they made it once. That's so disappointing. Europa League then, do we have anything there? Now, we left off with the Bristol City loss, so Hertha Berlin in the first knockout round, that's a tough one. 3rd in the group, so that's going to be parachuting to the conference. First knockout round, 3rd in Group B. First knockout round, 3rd in Group B, first knockout round. So they lost to some big teams, to be fair, but they never really went deep in Europe. In the Conference League, now, of course, we made the semi-final of this 1 year, didn't we? To Valencia. Yeah, so that's us there in the semi-final. So then they lost to Celta Vigo, second knockout round, first knockout round. So they never really did anything in Europe, never went deep again. All right, let's go and have a look at our facilities and see what happened there. Well, let's have a look at this general screen first. So, Club Legends. I'm still there, along with Adam Armstrong, and that's deserved, isn't it? Imagine the interest that he's seen off. And Cargbo as well. Good to see he's still a legend of the club. The icons, McDade, Zayanetti, Miss Kelly, who should be a legend, really. That's McQuaid, isn't it? So, McQuaid is a icon, as is Robbie Young. And the favoured personnel, Mark Maguire, the young right back that we signed. And if we go and have a look now at facilities, and it's been a success. Aussie Villain Park. There we go. Oh, brilliant. Couldn't have done it while I was at the club, but built in 2044, so just 2 seasons ago, there is a Aussie Villain Park. Now, does that mean they'll be able to host their own European games as well, I wonder? It's going to be expanded by another 1,500 seats, which will take them up to just under 10,000, won't it? Just under 9,000. I don't know what the threshold is, but that's getting close. The facilities have been allowed to slip away a little bit, but Aussie Villain Park, the last year's been worth it. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. All right, let's have a look at the club records. All right, so McDade is still the leading goal scorer. Miss Kelly is now the leading appearance player, as you would expect, having spent his entire career there with 447. Highest average rating is still that 806 from McQuaid. The youngest player is now McCabe. Now that happened 2041. Is he still? No, he's gone off to Linfield, so dead to us. The oldest player is Anthony Armstrong. Still going Armstrong as well, which is great. Fastest goal is Rory King. That's Paphos. We were there for the Paphos, weren't we? Most goals in a match. The Ferguson record from season 1 still stands. Most assists are 33 by this guy who is now retired. Most clean sheets was Robbie Young. Now that's outside of us, isn't it? 39. Oh, no, it's not. No, yeah, it is. 39-40s after us. Most man of the match awards. This guy with 18. Wow. He's at Liverpool now. We had him on loan for a year from Liverpool, but he looks very, very good indeed. Youngest goal scorer is this guy, youth player that's coming through. And the oldest goal scorer is, of course, Anthony Armstrong. Anything else here? We still have the biggest win, biggest defeat we have as well. Hooray for us. Highest scoring league game was the 12-1. So a lot of our records stood up, which is good. And yeah, McDade, top goal scorer. And I really I cannot say how pleased I am that Miss Kelly spent his whole career with us. So that is that. Now let's have a look at the best 11. Now, this is, of course, the best 11 that the game has chosen for the club. So Robbie Young is the goalkeeper, 576 appearances, 0 goals, but he, I think, probably deserves that. Maguire, the right back that we signed. I did say at the time I had high hopes. He was a little bit young for us, but 285 games, 19 goals for him. Tommy Martin is still there, the centre back, 185 appearances, 12 goals. Armstrong, obviously, is in midfield, 720 appearances. Now, that's not league appearances, that's everything. But 720, 201 goals. What a legend he is. Miss Kelly's not far behind, 654 appearances with 103 goals. Wright is not. Napoleon is still there as well. Excellent to see. 273 appearances, 74 goals. Afonso, the left winger, 246 appearances, 51 goals. McDade is still the striker. If you're a striker that has more goals than appearances, you're going to be hard to displace, aren't you? Zanetti has disappeared completely, it looks like. And down the bottom here, Matthew Kelly, of course, is William McQuaid. That was his name before we renamed him. So 303 appearances with 11 goals. And Hamzat Kagbo stays in the best 11 as well. 205 appearances, 96 goals. And that's a nice little tribute to the past, isn't it? He was with us very, very early on. So good to see that he has lasted the test of time as well. But that is the end of the Impossible Dream with H&W Welders. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've got to say a big thank you to the club as well, who have been liking and in contact with me on Twitter. So thank you to them. It's been an absolute blast. It's always sad to end these. Hopefully you've enjoyed them as much as I've enjoyed making them, because it's hopefully it comes across. I do have a great time with the Impossible Dream, and yeah, it's always sad. It's always disappointing. I felt this way with Bale. I didn't think anybody else would. I'd never be able to love again. But I have, and it's H&W Welders, and it's been absolutely brilliant. And we'll be back next time. If you've got this far in the series, a big thank you. And as a bit of a bonus for making it this far, the Impossible Dream will be back for Football Manager 22. We will be in Scotland, and we'll be managing Queen of the South, which is currently a Scottish Championship team, which have kind of been stuck in the Championship forever. The reason I've always wanted to manage them is because back in like the 1800s or something, when my family immigrated to Australia voluntarily, they were from that area. So that's sort of the nearest team to where they're from. So yeah, Queen of the South it will be. Impossible Dream are going to try and win the Champions League with them. It's a little bit controversial, I think, because a Scottish team has won the Champions League before. Does it qualify as an Impossible Dream? I hope so. And it'll be fun even if it doesn't. So that'll be for next time. Until then, guys, thank you so much for making it this far. You all deserve satehoods, to be honest, putting up with me for 216 episodes. But until next time, guys, take care.